Hey everyone, welcome back to Waddy's channel. Today guys, originally planned was to take a look at the Star Toys figures and some of the international wrestling champions. Unfortunately, I've decided I am not going to make that in this particular video, but we are still looking at some new wrestling pickups. So, a much shorter video today. I don't have too many items to take a look at in this particular video, but I think each one of these have some kind of meaning one way or another. So the first thing I want to look at actually, guys, is not a recent pickup. I've actually had this for a very long time, probably in the last, I don't know, last year or so. I don't know, all these days kind of blending together, but not important. I just wanted to show it because I got a new poster in recently, and I wanted to show off this first poster because I feel like these are two posters that absolutely have to be displayed somewhere in this grand museum. There's just no wall space for me to put it anywhere, which means I'm going to have to use one of the spare bedrooms, and I already know how much my wife will slap the hell out of me if that happens, so I got to find some way to display this so that's not always displayed on the floor. This one is Steel Cage Challenge, and I'm almost... No, I'm not almost. I am positive that this was one of the Nintendo video games. I remember this poster because this poster actually came with the original video game and user manual. So, Stinger GQ. Buddy Daly had this on his auction a long while ago, and luckily I was able to win it on auction. I don't remember how much I paid. Luckily, I went out and I bought a bunch of these really super-sized picture frames. I don't know, 14 by 12, I think. Somewhere around that vicinity. Much larger than your average size picture frame, so just kind of give you a little glance size difference. So this one's probably your general 11 by 8. So I think 14 by 12, 14 by 11, something like that is about right. Nostalgia told me I absolutely needed this, and thrilled to have gotten this poster in, right? The graphics and design of this poster is absolute killer. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, I mean, look at that. That is so cool that you just have to have it somewhere displayed in your home. Not everyone in this world is going to have... a Steel Cage Challenge poster, but to be able to add it to this collection, my mind was blown. Obviously, over the last year or so, I've gone back and I've been buying up a lot of Nintendo games as well. I mean, I bought up a few Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis games as well, but I mean, am I ever going to play them? Like, picking up Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th video games for NES. Am I ever going to play them? No, they're horrendous. I think I played, when I first got them in, I think I popped them in for like a few minutes and was so ticked off, and the graphics were just so bad and everything. I mean, they're perfect for 1980s when they first came out, right? But in the 21st century graphic-wise, no. The gameplay was, I couldn't understand it. Fully grown adult, you know, nearing age 40, and I can't figure out those games. So imagine me being, I don't know, 3 years old, or 5, or however old, you know, young and trying to play those games. No. All of the LJN video games that they came out with for wrestling, WrestleMania, the Steel Cage match, all that stuff, those were all straight trash. I remember having so much fun with those when I was a kid. And they're horrendous. You buy those games not because you want to play them, but because you want them for nostalgia reasons. Oh, hey, look, I got the Steel Cage match for Nintendo. Here it is. Da 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 da. That's it. No other reason. But the poster, to me, is the highlight of that collection. Video game, booklet, poster, whatever else came in that original packet of goodies. So, from my buddy Gary Scott on eBay, a couple videos ago, I did a review on some of the figures I bought from him. I left his screen name so that you guys could check him out on eBay. I don't remember if I won this on auction or if it was a best offer. Either way, I couldn't have been more thrilled to get this. And this is a WWF Superstars advertisement. And you can actually see that each of the wrestlers are advertising their own respective sneaker. For whatever reason, I don't like the word sneaker. Like, to me, shoes. I'll even accept gym shoes. But sneakers, I don't know, it's like one of those words that I never utilized growing up. Like, my family said icebox. We never said refrigerator. You know, you had freezer and icebox. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. Icebox was something like you would say in like the 1920s or something. But to this day, it's still an icebox. It's not a refrigerator. You know, I might say you have to keep it refrigerated, but that's not actually calling it a refrigerator. So there's just certain words or phrases I don't like. Like, for whatever reason, the expression right of way, I don't know, it just sounds ridiculous to me. Or Danish. I don't know what's up with the word Danish. To me, Danish just sounds weird. Anyways, that doesn't even look like a sneaker, like a shoe. It looks like a sock. One of those. What do they call them? My wife got some recently. They're slippers, but they're like sock slippers, if that makes sense. So that they go a little bit higher up the leg, as if you were wearing regular socks. So that's exactly what that one looks like. But the poster itself, even if it wasn't an advertisement and it was just Hogan and Warrior, I think that in of itself for any collector would have been worth something. But the fact that it's an actual advertisement, and it says the main event, the latest in footwear for little Hulksters and little Ultimate Warriors. Angel ATTS of California Incorporated, and a bunch of other small lettering that, since my eye surgery, I can't make out. It's all gibberish to me. But but that advertisement again kind of gives me that whole 1990 Series 1 Ultimate Warrior Hasbro figure feel. And, you know, Eric made me an Ultimate Warrior with this look. Ram Treasures made this look. So it's the most common version that you'll see of Ultimate Warrior. Anytime I get a new custom for Ultimate Warrior, Mattel Retro, if it's an LJN figure, Hasbro figure, whatnot, there are a couple looks. One with him in like yellow trunks, another with him in like blue trunks. Those are the type of looks I want. I want to stay away from this because I got this look so many times. But that was a nice little pickup. Again, couldn't be more thrilled to own that piece of history right there. And I just got to find somewhere to actually be able to hang those up. Because it's killing me. I've had this steel cage poster on my floor right over here for the longest time. But I don't know, man. In all honesty, where the heck could I put it? I don't ever watch TV down here. I'm tempted to almost glue it to the TV and be like, yeah, there's my wall space. I'm not going to do that, guys. But it's just a funny thing. Oh, this came in either yesterday or today. I don't know. My darn Galoob, carded Galoob figures keep falling off the freaking wall. And I just heard one fall off the wall again. Those things are expensive. Those UK figures on card. And that thing, they keep falling off the damn wall. They're going to bust open and I won't be ticked. This is, I don't know if I would call this a Holy Grail piece. A sort of Grail item, I would say. And it is a Series 10 Shawn Michaels. Now, for the longest time, I've been saying I'm essentially complete with Series 10, right? Because in Series 7, you had the yellow card of Shawn Michaels in white pants. You had the yellow card of Razor Ramon with black vest, red trunks. But those exact same figures were re-released on blue card in Series 10, right? And even if you didn't have that re-release of Razor or the re-release of Shawn, you could still consider yourself complete because you had purple Razor and you had black Shawn Michaels. So, but I got the re-release Razor Ramon a long while ago, and I just got this in recently. So this officially completes Series 10 with both versions, white pants and black pants, Shawn Michaels, as well as both versions or both variants, purple Razor, the new one, and the re-release of the black and red. So with this inclusion to the collection, officially, I can say Dusty Rhodes Carded Series 2 is the last remaining Hasbro figure, and the Mint on Card collection will be complete. I never intended to get these guys on card. I never intended to get LGN on card, any of these guys on card, really. But when I really went full on and I picked up a few cards, I'm like, you know what? It was important to me at one point to like, hey, I wanted at least 5 LJNs on card. And if I could get one of them on black card, that would be incredible. If I could get at least one of them with the original 5 back, that to me was a must-have. And eventually I just exploded and just went like mad LJN collecting crazy, right? And I did the same thing with the Hasbros. This is not an easy figure, and for whatever reason, a Series 10 Black Pants Shawn Michaels sells for less than this version. Why? I actually had a black... nope, I take it back. I didn't try to sell that one. It was the Series 11 Ludwig Borga. Every time I've been trying to bid on that guy in years past, $400 to $600 on eBay, on auction. I put it up for buy it now of like $400, $425. I've gone down to like $360, $375, just random prices, just to kind of move it around to see if it attracts anybody. And every time somebody watches it, I submit an offer, right? Darn thing never sold. I think I eventually just said, fine, I'll take an offer, and I sold it for like $250 or something. I'm like, son of a bitch, because I was really hoping to get like $450 out of that, but I would have accepted $400. It was just a duplicate figure I couldn't get rid of. And because I bought it from a UK seller with the Black Pants Shawn Michaels and a couple other figures, I was hoping to make enough money to try and get as much of my money back as possible. So based on what I sold the other figures for, I think that means I would have essentially paid like $400 or $500 on the Black Pants Shawn Michaels, and that to me is not a $500 figure or a $400 figure. So this is an interesting pickup. Stuff like this, really, I have no interest in per se, but I don't know. It's Hulk Hogan, and yes, Hulk Hogan is my favorite wrestler, and you think Hulk Hogan stuff in general sells really well, that this was, to me, a unique enough item that I felt for the right price, maybe I should pick it up. What is it? Oh, I know what it is. I'm trying to think. What did I pay on this? I don't remember. $20? But once you find out what it is, you're going to laugh at me for paying $20 on it. Anyways, I got an official WWF Hulk Hogan chalk. Yes, it is actual chalk. I love that it actually says that I'm chalk on here. Back of the card, graphics are very simple. Use on chalkboards, use on sidewalks, for school or for playing games, whatever. Playing hopscotch over there. There's a sticker on here. It looks like it's sold. Looks like it originally sold for $2.59. And then resold for $2.30. Maybe one on... So, I don't know what year this came out, but, I don't know. If this sold in the 1990s, for example, I would assume that $2 for a piece of chalk, I don't care if it's wrestling and it looks like an actual wrestler, I just feel like $2.50 on that would have been like crazy expensive for that time. It's like the erasers. The Winston Toys erasers. I don't think any kid that ever had those would have actually used them as erasers, because I feel like that's wasteful. I got a couple loose, and then I have everything else on card, right? And yeah, they look like they're awesome playable figures, just the same way as the LJ and Bendy. So, but this is obviously never going to get used. This is never going to get opened or anything. This will stay carded forever. Do I have any intention on reselling this? like I said, man, if there's ever a point in my life where I'm desperate for money or hurting, my wife needs surgery and they need $30,000 right now and it can't wait type of deal, and it's a life saving measure. Yeah, I mean that's a reason for me to sell my collection. I've always said this stuff's gonna stay with me forever. My personal collection, anything I have duplicates of, yeah, I'll sell those. But that'll force my hand to sell some stuff. But some of the main stuff, like the LJN collection, like the Hasbro collection, that stuff I don't want to touch. So things like this would go up for auction or for sale. I don't like doing auctions because none of my stuff ever sells for what I want. This item is not wrestling related, but I wanted to bring it up because nostalgia, man. So in 1993, I've talked about. In 1993, I was 8 years old, and Power Rangers came out, and I was probably the biggest Power Rangers fanatic you could ever imagine. But in the years that followed, you had all of these different spin-offs from Power Rangers, which included Masked Rider, which they were Kamen Rider in Japan, and Masked Rider in Power Rangers. He did have this cameo that introduced him before his Masked Rider series began. You had shows like VR Troopers and Big Bad Beetleborgs and Beetleborgs Metallics. Later on, you got shows like Ryan Gosling's Young Hercules or Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog. And I'm trying to think. What was the American... I think Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog was actually the American version, or America's take on Power Rangers, because, Japan, Power Rangers is a Japanese series, so... VR Troopers, I don't remember if this was... I think this was also originated in Japan, and of course... Saban or whoever, Saban would take clips from the Japanese show to incorporate into the U.S. Storyline, obviously hiring American actors and everything. So, what am I talking about? From VR Troopers, Ryan Steele. The package didn't cost a fortune, and I think it has everything to do with the fact that this was damaged. I gotta be honest, I wasn't paying attention because I probably wouldn't have bought this had I known it had damage to it. And I think the only reason I got it for as affordable of a price as I did is because of that damage. But I like this particular figure because I did have this exact figure as a kid. These accessories, I don't remember these accessories worth a darn. So that's just more toys I had as a kid where you'd have the figures displayed, but you'd never have the actual accessories. And I've already said before, as a kid, I never touched my Power Ranger toys in that way, right? When I had those collections of VR Troopers or my Masked Rider toys, the few that I did, or Big Bad Beetleborg, stuff like that, I never played with those when I was a kid. I mean, you're talking from like age 8 to age 14, I think. I don't know when Mystic Knights came out. I'm going to say 1999 or maybe a couple years before that. Yeah, I watched those shows, but like I had the toys because I was a fan of the shows, but I never actually played with them. I think the only toys I could ever say that I actually played with as a kid were the few Galoob and the few Hasbros that we had. That's it. But I've always been, since I started collecting, I've been wanting to go back and get all these VR Troopers and Masked Rider toys, but these guys on card, I mean, these were what, like a few dollars when they first came out? And today, if you try to buy them on card, you're looking at $35, $50, $100. Crazy stupid prices. And I think guys like myself, the really huge niche collectors, are like the only ones that might be interested in Mystic Knights action figures. So when you're selling like one package for like $75, I have absolutely no incentive to purchase that whatsoever. If I had this huge collection and I was missing that piece, maybe it's a different story. But if I'm just trying to get into it, no, I have no reason to, right? So, these guys, one of the things I said I was never going to do. I said I was never going to buy any more Jakks Pacific toys. Maybe at some point, maybe the black box superstar boxes. But as far as like your Stomp figures or your WrestleMania figures, your bone crunching figures, stuff like that, I'm like, oh hell no, never in a million years. Straight trash. I lied to you, I lied to myself, because that is exactly what I did. I bought more Jakks Pacific action figures. More importantly, I bought the bone crunching action figures. And I think what really spurned my interest in these is not Jakks Pacific or the wrestlers themselves. I think it's the fact that when I started collecting the bone crunching figures from figure collections, like the Atom Bomb and the Blue Meanie, etc., right? I thought those figures were phenomenal. And that those figures themselves are what sparked my interest to go out and actually acquire some more bone-crunching action figures. And I talked about how these figures were probably some of the worst action figures I ever saw. I don't know. Just kind of getting these figures in, I feel like my opinion is changing. And, once upon a time, I said that these were horrible figures, and I felt sorry for the kids that had these growing up. But now I kind of feel like I might actually like them. And you gotta thank Figure Collections for that, because before I started getting those, no, I would probably pick up a few just to say I have something to kind of show off for the collection. But all in all, terrible. But these do have working action features, and I always feel them in the knees. I never feel them in the arms. And I thought the arms were supposed to crack as well, but maybe I'm just not cracking it in the right spot. I don't know. But like I said, you only hear it in the knees. But the point is, I was able to get these because I got a bundle of 6 figures off Mercari, and I put an offer in, and they didn't cost an absolute fortune. I think I paid less than $30 purchase price. I think $26 for all 6 of these figures. Purchase price with shipping and everything, I don't know, $40. You know, Mercari now, they give you free, or they give you 0% selling fees, but they put that risk on the buyers. So now the buyers are having to pay all these additional service fees to make up the difference. So that kind of sucks. Shawn Michaels was absolutely a must-have. I actually relisted these on both Mercari and my eBay account. And I put them up for a high price. Reason being, I still feel like these are more valuable than the guy that sold them to me had them listed for. And that's one thing. And two, in all honesty, I really don't want to sell them. And I've talked about in the past, I feel like sellers that put up figures on their account for high prices, they do it because they don't want to sell the items. But if they do happen to sell for their price, it's like, hell yeah, I'll sell that all day long. If I buy this for $5 and I list it for $50, is it worth $50? Oh, hell no. But if somebody offers me $50 for it, best believe I'll take that in a heartbeat. But so it's kind of like that mindset. And also I kind of feel like by doing so, maybe someone that had interest in these that see your figures, maybe they take a look at your page and find something else that they're interested in. So I think that's also another very important reason why a seller might, at least that's why I do it on occasion. But generally, I put stuff on eBay and Mercari because I want it to sell. I have it boxed up, and I want that box out of my house. But and it's why I'm always willing to work with buyers to give them a good deal if I can, and hopefully make a sale, earn some cash. But that was a good figure. I like getting that one in. I think this figure right here is actually the main reason I want this bundle more than anything, and it's the Ultimate Warrior. I've seen this Ultimate Warrior in the past. I thought it was horrendous, but holding it in my hand, it's not as bad as I gave it credit for. I think it's a pretty decent figure. For this particular figure, what sucks is this right here. Kind of looking at the way that the arms shoot out like that, maybe it's intentional. I don't know. But I'm thinking that this was supposed to be nice and tight, and it's not. Or maybe it swivels just a little bit left and right, and it's just not. So I'd have to like super glue this or something. I don't know. That kills the figure. But I know that Ultimate Warrior is a very pricey figure on both eBay and Mercari, and if you try to find it on card, shoot, uncarded, it's probably like $100 figure. I mean, is that the value? Probably not. I just think people are overpricing it, but... So I decided to at least get this bundle because I wanted the Warrior figure. And like I said, all of these figures, I like every character here, so I plan on keeping this entire bundle. But if it does so, or if somebody reaches out for an in particular figure, yeah, I'll definitely see what we can work out. But Bone Crunching from Jakks Pacific, Ultimate Warrior. Yep, always in the knees, but never in the wrist or never in the elbows. Number 3 was Steve Austin. Obviously, Steve Austin as ringmaster when he first came in, and then falling under the $1 Million Corporation. I don't even remember if the whole Austin 316 was a thing while I was still a fan of wrestling, or while I was still actively watching wrestling. I think that was something that I want to say it happened around 1998, 1999. Now, I don't remember at the time. I didn't know that Vince McMahon ever won the 99 Royal Rumble. And Royal Rumbles happened in January, so you would think that I would have been like very familiar with that if that were the case. And I didn't know that until maybe a couple years ago. So I was definitely done watching wrestling, at the start of 99. I like to say that I stopped watching wrestling in 1998 when I was 13. And, because 1998, at that point, I was already baseball obsessed. And the Cubs were in playoff contention, and Slam and Sammy was blasting 60-plus home runs. So it's like, yeah, I had a new love. So I don't remember the whole 316 when that era began. Anything Attitude Era just wasn't my thing, man. I love Golden Age era wrestling. To me, that's wrestling at its finest. I like the fact that the figures not only are in pretty good shape, but the fact that they all come with their accessories as well. I mean, that's awesome. And this is an awesome vest. Nice and rubber vest. Sturdy. Austin and 316 on the bottom here. Yeah, this one spins 360, but I mean, at least the waist is like, somewhat to an extent tight. Unlike the Warrior, which flimsy as heck. And that's a good looking Austin figure as well. Oddly enough, I think Steve Austin is probably my least favorite out of this bundle. This is another reason why I was saying I didn't like Jakks Pacific, or more importantly, talking about these particular figures, why I didn't like the BCA figures. Because here is Owen Hart. And I said that the Bret Hart Bone Crunching figure is one of the worst looking figures I've ever seen. Owen Hart's a little bit better, but I mean, his head, I don't know. To me, that just doesn't look like Owen Hart to me. I don't know what it is about Owen that makes it so hard. Like, a lot of people out there today have these upgraded 3D printers, and they could do an exact replica of a person's head. Yet, you see these customizers who come out like these LJNs and even Hasbro figures, and they just don't look like Owen to me. And this doesn't look like Owen. This is Jakks Pacific, okay? This is a named, recognized toy manufacturer, and you're telling me that this is the best that they could give you? But other than that, King of Hearts Owen, the design all around is incredible. This is, like I said, this is one of the better figures in this bundle. Even without the head being as crummy as it is. An absolute must-have, I would say, is always Goldust. I don't know a whole lot about the natural Dustin Rhodes, but Goldust was one of my absolute favorite characters from childhood. And I think I told the story a long while ago about the name of Goldust. So in the early 90s, I was a huge fan of Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon would have a new episode every weekday, and it would go episode 1 all the way to the end of the series. So I don't know, like 5 seasons or something. And I'd always wake up like super, like 6:25 in the morning, because it would come on like 6:30 a.m. And I'd throw in my VHS, and I would sit at the TV, hit record when it comes on, pause as it goes on commercial, record as it comes back on, etc. And so when you watch my VHS tapes, you never saw any commercials. Once it cut to black, bam, it's paused. Once it comes off of commercial and cuts to black, or goes to black, bam, record. It's like watching a store-bought tape. I was so good at that stuff, and I had hundreds upon hundreds of VHS tapes. So many of them TV shows, all 3 movies per tape. Probably thousands of movies based on all of those things, and my wife threw them all away. I love her, but I don't think she ever realized that VHS tapes would one day be worth something. Hell, I never knew that they'd be worth something, but they were worth something to me. And I knew I never would have had the strength to get rid of them myself. I kind of felt like I needed to, but there are certain tapes I would have wanted to hold on to, because you're never going to find, that movie or those TV shows again. You're not going to find them on DVD. You're not going to be able to Pirate Bay them and find them. Anyways, I kind of went off to... I kind of do what I do, and I go off topic a lot, so... Gold Dust. Sailor Moon had a character named Tuxedo Mask. And he was... later on, he'd become the love interest... Not just the protector of Sailor Moon, but Darien would become the love interest of Serena, who was Sailor Moon. And I created my own character. It was based on Tuxedo Mask, except, instead of having the black cape with, black jacket, black pants and shoes, black top hat, white shirt, I had the exact same character, except everything was straight gold. Instead of throwing red flowers as his weapon, he'd throw gold flowers, and those would kind of like use like as explosions and whatnot. And I called him Gold Dust. I don't know how long. It could have been months. It could have been a year or 2 later. But eventually the character Gold Dust arrived in the WWF. And I'm like, damn. They stole my idea. This isn't quite what I imagined or whatnot. Over time, the gold shirt eventually turned into a white shirt. And so it was almost identical to Tuxedo Mask, except they swapped the black for gold. Who was his manager? The name Marlena is popping in my head, but I don't know if that's what it was. But Dustin Rhodes, obviously, I don't think he's gay in real life, obviously. Kind of like Adrian Adonis. That's just the portrayal of the character. But like he'd have like this gorgeous manager in his corner. And like whenever he like wrestled like Razor Ramon or something, like he actually made out with Razor Ramon in the middle of the ring one day. I thought that was hilarious, man. The way he always sit there and like kind of touch himself and everything, like creeping people out. It was funny. It was just good times, man. I like that a lot. And I don't know what this right here is all about. There's an actual signature on this guy's leg. Alright, it actually says Gold Dust. If anybody owns this figure, can you please tell me if all figures had a signature on it? Because it looks like it's printed on there. So it doesn't feel like it was signed by the actual wrestler. But if it is an authentic signature, holy crap. I may have hit the mother load on this one. And I also love the way that they always come with these accessories. This is one of those scenarios where I feel like I would rather him keep the wig on as opposed to it being a removable accessory, right? So, but then again, you wouldn't be able to get all of these awesome facial face paint in there. So, I think that was important. Last pickup from this particular bundle. is Undertaker. And I kind of feel like your Undertaker figure is probably the most important of this bundle. Between him and Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior is obviously the one I wanted to get the most, but you need an Undertaker no matter where you're at. What was it, like, I think I was in like 3rd grade. 1995, I was 10 years old, and The Undertaker had been out of wrestling for a while, and then Ted DiBiase brought in his fake Undertaker, who was pretending to be the real guy. And then you had I think it was WrestleMania 10. Yeah, I think WrestleMania 9 was Undertaker against the Giant Gonzalez, if I recall. So that would mean WrestleMania 10 would have had been Undertaker versus fake Undertaker. And I believe that's like the first time that this Undertaker showed up in, this orange color scheme. I remember one of the guys, one of my classmates, he and I got into this huge argument because the guy did not know that the original Undertaker changed his clothing and that this was his new look. And he actually, I didn't have pay-per-view, but his family ordered pay-per-view and he watched it. And he kept trying to argue with me, trying to tell me that the fake Undertaker won because he was thinking that the purple Undertaker defeated the gray Undertaker, and gray was the Undertaker's colors. But I'm like, even someone who didn't even watch the match knew better. And we didn't have internet or anything to search, so kind of, how do you know better at that time? I don't really remember, but just kind of a fun story, I think. But yeah, that's Undertaker with accessory. Alright, so now just gonna put those probably over there with the rest of my, actually no. I gotta find a spot for all of my Jakks bone crunching figures, kind of put them off in one area so they're all together. I probably won't have them displayed in my main display room. I'll probably end up putting them in the storage room on one of the shelves there. But that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, we are most definitely going to take a look at Star Toys. Kind of give you a little preview. These guys right here, we're going to look at those guys. And the International Wrestling Champions, we're going to look at a bunch of these guys. So, I think it'll be a pretty fun video. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And until then, I will talk to you guys in the comments and see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.